wanted to talk about his bigoted and racist comments about the black women who he was talking about.
What really gets people fired up is the monologue that I did yesterday, the rant about the self-admitted, let's just say, story that Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee have mentioned about affirmative action. And they said they only got to college because of affirmative action. Now, affirmative action, by definition, is the lowering of standards to prioritize skin color and melanin content over the pursuit of excellence. It is the decline of meritocracy, and you are de-emphasizing people of one race to promote people of other races. So this is the clip in question. It is going totally viral, and I have nothing to apologize before. I stand by it 100%, but people are losing their minds. In fact, one article, Mediaite.com, they call it unalloyed racism.
I wanted to pause it there because it is easy to show him as very unintelligent, dumb, because he said that affirmative action prioritizes melanin content and the color of your skin. That's what affirmative action basically prioritizes. Totally throwing out of the window gender and the fact that colorless women benefit from affirmative action, which blows his argument right out of the water right there, because they have his same skin tone and they're benefiting the most. Also, let's take a look at the definition of affirmative action. And this is sad because this reminds me of a situation where Whoopi Goldberg was saying the Jays were colorless. She's not wrong about that. You wouldn't have to have a defining image or anything on clothing to tell you apart if you look so different. I'm sorry, you wouldn't have to do that. So because people mix up race, religion, ethnicity, nationality, language, and they mix it up, and usually they're wrong when they're talking about it, affirmative action is no different. They don't know what it is, and they don't know what it does. It says here that in the context of allocation of resources or employment, the practice or policy of favoring individuals belonging to groups regarded as disadvantaged or subject to discrimination. Also, there's one here. It says affirmative action, also known as positive action or positive discrimination, British English, involves sets of policies and practices within a government or organization seeking to include particular groups that were historically discriminated against based on their gender, race, sexuality, creed, or nationality in areas in which such groups are underrepresented, such as education and employment. So, this is something to stop discrimination against someone because they are a female, because they are not the dominant race within the country, which we're talking about the USA. So, African American people, and it says also nationality, which means someone can discriminate against you because you came from Cuba, or you came from Africa, or any other nation other than the one that you're currently in. And we're speaking on the USA right now. It's policies and practices so people can get a job and get education, because historically and now currently, people are being discriminated against because of who they were born to be. And because they were not born colorless, that means people are discriminating against them. Either their name, the color of their skin, their gender, the nation in which they were born, everything that is outside of anybody's control. But basically they're saying colorlessness is all we want. We are going to give colorless kids and people advantages over you. And that's why affirmative action came into play, is to stop it, to stop the bigotry, to stop the discrimination, to allow people to do what they wanted to do as far as education and a job. This is the reason why with plumbers, people who do HVAC, with people who fix boilers, and in these different sectors, the reason why they're in pain, they can't get anybody to be electricians to come in and get the qualifications and also licenses and anything else that they need to do these jobs is because heavily discriminated against quote unquote POC people and even black people. Were heavily discriminated against in those fields. So therefore, now they are reaping the benefits of their bigotry. And again, to reiterate, affirmative action refers to policies and programs that are designed to actively promote equal opportunity in the workplace or in education for people, regardless of their race, gender, national origin, sexual orientation, and other factors. Even ageism is a thing. Again, he's stupid.
I mean, it's not even a term that people, can you imagine? You're an unalloyed racist. Okay. You are strong as long as you don't care that they call you a racist. They are weak if you do not care what names they call you. Here's the...
And to touch on that, exactly. They can call you thug. They can call you woke. They can call you anything that they want to. Don't give any power to that, especially from someone as stupid as him.
Clip in question, play cut 112. In fact, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
And that was the comment he made. Basically, they were talking about affirmative action. Then he goes on to say, we know that affirmative action helped you because you don't have the brain processing power or the intellectual ability to these black women, right? This is coming from someone, when I looked them up, I thought for sure that I was going to find some uppity, bougie, snobbish, privileged person who thinks they are so intelligent because they have like a Harvard degree, a Yale degree, they went to Dartmouth, they went to UC Berkeley, they went to an Ivy League school, and they have this smell of entitlement on them, right? So when I looked him up, to my surprise, so I'm looking at his education and his early life, and it says that he is an American conservative activist and radio talk show host. So he's filling that slot. He founded Turning Point USA, and is there interesting information on that organization? He is CEO of Turning Point Action Student for Trump. But anyway, he was born in Chicago, suburbs of Arlington Heights, Illinois. Oh, that makes me sad because I'm from Illinois. But anyway, and raised in nearby Prospect Heights, Illinois. His mother is a mental health counselor and his father is an architect. And if they are successful, there's where his privilege comes in. He, I get it. He didn't have to do anything. Everything was served to him on a silver platter. Let's see if he did anything with it. Okay, he was in the Boy Scouts of America. Okay, yeah, he went to high school. He wrote an essay for Breitbart News alleging liberal bias in high school textbooks, which led to an appearance on Fox Business. I mean, come on now. All you have to do is say the right words and Fox will bring you on, no matter who you are. So he's affiliated with Bill Montgomery, who was a part of the Tea Party. And that's cute. It says here that Charlie briefly attended Harper College, a junior community college near Chicago, but dropped out without having completed any degree or certification. That's what I wanted to get to. Okay. And I wanted to give a little bit of information about Turning Point USA, and there's allegations of sexual harassment. It's the audacity for me, for someone who is a community college dropout, to be talking about women who have worked their butt offs and they have graduated from prestigious schools. They did the work. What he is trying to do is diminish the accomplishment of these women. They were able to get good grades, they were able to get into the colleges, and they were able to leave with their degree. Something he couldn't do at a community college. That's why he's angry. And what he's saying is affirmative action took these women from a situation where they would not do well because they're limited in their intellect. They don't have the wherewithal to study hard and to get good grades so they can get their degree. What helped them get their degree was affirmative action, which there was some colorless kid, male or female, most of the time they're talking about male, whose opportunity was taken away to study at that college, which this person would have been more capable, they would have been smarter, and they didn't get this degree because people are trying to pull these POCs, the blacks, up using affirmative action. Just an idiot, a true idiot, because you cannot get into that school unless you are prepared to succeed and you will do well, unless you are showing through what you've done in high school and any college prep test and the SATs and everything else, that you're well-rounded and you're intelligent and you are up to the task, and your work that you did before applying to that college, that Ivy League college, shows that you are capable. That's what they don't get. They really, in the back of their mind, trying to convince people themselves, I don't know what it is. They are trying to say that affirmative actions lowers the threshold of what you must do to get into the college just to bring people who are not colorless in, when that's not what affirmative action is. That's not what it's doing. The person of color and the colorless person get the same test. They go to the same colleges. They have to complete the same work. Is not giving a colorless person something harder than a person of color. That's a lie. And that's what they're trying to perpetuate. Like, we're dumbing it down for them to give them a degree, to give them a spot, to try and help them out. And if you think that, and there's people in his comment, lots of people, they really think that. And it just shows you how many dumb people there are out there, and that he is one of them.
Now, people are calling that racist. Well, hold on a second. Ketanji Brown Jackson's a moron. She's not a smart person. She shouldn't be taken seriously. Evidence? Play cut 114.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word.
Yeah, that's a Supreme Court justice who's there because of affirmative action, proving to the world she's a moron.
Okay, first of all, she says she's not a biologist, so she wasn't going to give the definition of the word. She can give what she feels, but then there's people who are going to push back on that because of the society that we live in. And that little snippet has nothing to do with her intelligence, because if she gives a definition, it could start this chain reaction where people are disagreeing. This person says this person says that. That's the society that we live in right now. So I understand why she did what she did. But he's using that to say, you're not smart, affirmative action got you that degree. You didn't get it on your own merits. You didn't get it through your hard work. You're actually dumb. You don't have the brain processing power. But this SOB did not have the brain processing power to get through community college. He had to use mommy and daddy's money to become a glorified podcaster. That's as good as he could do from his place of privilege.
Can't tell you what a woman is in a Senate hearing. So logically, this means more qualified students academically gave up their spot. And by the way, in full transparency, I don't know if I had the brain processing power to go take a physics course at Harvard. I think Blake did. He went to Dartmouth. Other people do. Great. But you have to be honest about the pursuit of excellence. I have certain talents. One of the talents is not being able to get into an Ivy League school. Okay. Now they get really offended by it, even though they have admitted the following. Joy Reid, I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. Sheila Jackson Lee, I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action. Michelle Obama, I wasn't supposed to go to Princeton because my high school counselor said my test scores were too low. Michelle Obama told you she was not smart enough to be able to get into Princeton. That was a direct quote from Michelle Obama.
Okay, let's just say, because I haven't heard the full context of the story with Michelle Obama, obviously, if that's the school that she wanted to get in, she applied herself and she sought resources to help her to execute, and she did. He couldn't execute at that community college. But Michelle Obama was determined to get into the school that she wanted, into the field that she wanted, and just because she had a speed bump, she overcame that and she got her degree. They didn't just hand her a degree. Oh, wow, you got melanin in your skin. You know, we want you to represent, diversity here at the school. So here's your degree. We're just going to push you on through. The audacity of a community college dropout having the nerve to think that he has the right to speak on such intelligent women who have, despite their circumstances, despite what people told them, they reached for the stars and they grabbed it and they executed. And he couldn't. And that kills him inside to be a colorless man, someone who is looked at as creme de la creme, top dog, top male. That is what he's supposed to be because he's wrapped up in that skin. But it kills him inside to know that he is not better than a black woman. And I can tell you there are multiple people that he's not better than. This college dropout, this privileged little pampered boy. That's why he identifies with Trump. Trump's father gave him so much money and he just blew it. He had so many failures. That's what happens when you understand that on merit, you don't compare, you don't compete, you're not in that league. You can't come sit at that table. You don't have the ability, you don't have the brain processing power. But yet you're looking at this skin. He's having a mental breakdown.
Additionally, you read Michelle Obama's thesis. It's full of typos. It's not exactly the Summa Theologica. It's not exactly a brilliant piece of philosophical accomplishment. Okay, they might be sweet people. They might be nice people. They're acknowledging that affirmative action elevated them when they did not have the objective standards without their race to be prioritized. You're not allowed to say that. Now, as we've said before, we're living through a cultural revolution. There's only been one cultural revolution before. What's happening in America is less Stalinist, it's less Nazi, and it's more Maoist than anything else.
And the thing about this is, the disgusting thing about this is, the bigoted and prejudiced and racist thing about this is, you're looking at certain things from a point of view that this is a black person, right? And saying affirmative action helped you. You couldn't do it on your own. You couldn't do it if you had the resources. From the history that we come from, of course, we don't have the goddamn resources. Because if we did, we would do better than them. If it was a fair playing field, and let's just say you had everything that these legacies were able to get, tutors, people to help you practice, things to assist you, black people would blow them out of the water every time. And it's evident because despite the circumstances, despite the heavy boot on the neck, we're still doing it. And it kills them inside so bad. And it worries them and concerns them. Nobody is talking about the legacies and the resources that they have to be tutored, to have people come in and work on their image or to guide them along in this. All the money in the world to help them. But you have this black person who does not have any of that, and they have nothing but brain power and determination, and they blow your ass out of the water. That has to hurt. That has to sting, to know that your ancestors have worked so hard to put you on a pedestal so you can be at the top of the food chain, and you have to look at these people that you look down your nose at, who are not better than your demographic. That's how you feel. And to watch them accomplish something you can't get near, it has to hurt. It has to sting. He couldn't go to that Ivy League college because of mommy daddy's money and his colorlessness. He didn't have enough connections, and he didn't have the brain power. He didn't have the ability to cheat his way through or do whatever he had to get through. I mean, it says something about you when you can't even get through a community college. You can't apply yourself. That was too much. But he has the nerve to have Michelle Obama name in his mouth among all of the other bright and brilliant women that he has their name in his mouth. It's hilarious because he's mad. You can tell he's getting red as he thinks about this. He wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. All the lies that he's been told about his demographic being better, intelligent inventors. They created a nation, a great nation. They're this, they're that. And when reality crashed down on his flat, pale ass, that he wasn't good enough and everything that he's been told is a lie, he can't handle it. Along with the people in his comment section.
A little bit of French Revolution, but very, very Maoist. And one of the ways they take over the country is they try to shut you up. And that's what they're trying to do to me on social media today. It's all going viral, racist, all this. I don't care. It's 100% true. You have a Supreme Court justice that can't tell you what a woman is. Michelle Obama openly admits that she did not have grades good enough to get in. I will never back down from the pursuit of excellence and from meritocracy. Meritocracy keeps this country great.
It's very interesting that all of a sudden affirmative action was brought up and they're tying a black face to it. They're tying black faces to it, right? When, like I said, colorless women are the ones who benefit from affirmative action. But I believe Berkeley only has 4% population of black people. Like, they have like 3 black people, right? The ones who are blowing them out of the water are Asians, which is why they are attacking it. They're putting a black face to it to say we're attacking this because these less deserving 3/5 of humans are getting into these schools, taking degrees from the very smart people. That's what they're using so they can circle around, and they're going to get those Asians out because they don't want them there. They do not talk about legacies who are majority white, and to be a legacy meaning one of your parents went there, possibly grandparents, or you donated a wing to the school, you donated something to the school, and that's how you get in. Faculty, athletes, and legacies. And their test scores are not as good as, some of the people who are coming in who are not legacies. And nobody wants to talk about that. And they're okay with that. As long as these children are colorless, we don't care. We don't care if they're mediocre. We don't care if they're cheating. We don't care if they, they have low test scores. We're going to get them in no matter what we have to do. That's why I say there is no such thing as honor with them. There is no such thing as fairness with them. You see how they move and how they act. It's their race over everything, everybody, and we will do what we must to put a boot on your face to hold you down. And then we try and preach, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We try and preach education and being smart, being a good person. And when a person is all of that, they will use your blackness against you to keep you out of certain institutions and job titles. Specifically, you can work for them as a low-grade worker, but you want to start getting into middle management and upper management, it's no. I have worked for a couple Christian-based organizations that are snow white in middle management and upper management. They don't care. They don't care about how intelligent you are. They don't care about your merit. They don't care. You can be the nicest. You can be the most pleasant. You can be the smartest. You can be the most helpful, not have a bad bone in your body. They don't care. They see the melanin and they don't like you. They don't want you around. They don't want to see you thrive.
It's also condescending, by the way, to blacks who worked their butts off to get into Harvard without affirmative action. They want a race-based society. We want a character-based society.
That is not what his ancestors wanted. I don't know why he's sitting up here lying like this.
That's the divide. Character-based society or race-based society. Christopher Hitchens, by the way, very well-known atheist. I direct your attention to Obama's 1985 thesis at Princeton University. Its title, rather limited in scope given the author and the campus, is Princeton-educated blacks in the black community. To describe it as hard to read would be a mistake. The thesis cannot be read at all in the strict sense of the verb. This is because it wasn't written in any known language. That's Christopher Hitchens, well-known, well-respected liberal, saying Michelle Obama's senior thesis is incoherent, Ivy League, race-based psychobabble. What do we have?
So basically what he is saying is because a certain person did not like the material or what was said in the thesis, that's why it has no merit. They think they can play on words. Like I said, they think that they're smarter than they actually are. And it's easy to debunk a lot of the BS that they spew. It's one thing that somebody has a thesis or an argument or even a debate where you cannot understand what they're talking about and nothing is stringing together. It's a whole other thing when you oppose what they're talking about and it makes no sense to you because you can't connect with it racially. So that's where that all ended. Thank goodness. Because, like I said, him having the nerve to say what he said as a community college dropout is beyond me. And I just wanted to show this comment because, like I said, you can just destroy dumb people with truth and facts. And it's not hard. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand. This person said, affirmative action for admissions to college and universities does not include affirmative action to study and pass course exams, state bar exams, medical license exams, and other national exams required to meet the qualifications to practice various professions. This misinformation runs rampant regarding affirmative action, which was meant to give an opportunity to a qualified applicant who otherwise were historically excluded. If you know the history of the country, you know they were not letting black people into colleges to study, even though they were qualified, even though, and I was going to do a video, but I'm not going to do this because I find him disgusting and deplorable. Clarence Thomas, he was better than 98% of everybody. That is what people are trying to get these idiots to understand, that these people are smart. They are capable. They are smarter than all of the white people in that school. But they won't be given a chance because of racism, discrimination, prejudice, and bigotry. And you know what? I cannot get angry because we are talking about dumb people here. So, of course, they can't pass exams. They couldn't, get through community college. They have been floating on colorlessness for a very long time. And now that it's slipping away, it makes them feel like they're dying. It makes them panic. It makes them worried. It scares them. So now they're going to come up with all sorts of gibberish and try and twist things to make it seem like it's something that it's not. But yeah, I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you thought about this fool, Charlie Kirk. I don't understand how people are listening to him, and they could do a quick Google search, or they could look in some scholarly journals if they must. They can do some easy research to understand. They don't want to understand. They want to live in this colorless national bubble of we are the original Americans. Everybody survives because of us. It's their cognitive dissonance that has them like this. There is no helping it. There's no remedy to this. A lot of the talking points for a lot of people like this, it gives them focus. it gives them something to hate, and it distracts them from what's really going on. The fact that if you felt like these colleges were taking away from colorless children and it was undeserved for the Black person, why don't you go to the Board of Education or go to people who look like you who run those universities, organizations, and why don't you have a conversation with them? Because they're not going to listen to you because you're dumb. They are too chicken shit to go to the people who hire Black people, and they feel like it's taking away from a white person. They're not going to confront their own. Oh no, they're just going to spew this ignorant, dumb rhetoric. But yeah, I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.